Hey guys, it's Eric here at Farpoint Restorations and Repairs. Work on the 66 Beetle is getting down to it. Today we're going to be installing a new gas tank with a new fuel gauge, as well as replacing the fuel line. I have no idea when it was made, but I picked up some German fuel lines, so we're going to go ahead and replace that, and a new filter. And then in the last part of the series, most likely for right now anyway, we're going to replace the carburetor. So stick around. So the gas tank on this thing is not terrible. In fact, you could probably fix it up relatively inexpensively. Thing is, gas tanks for these things don't cost a whole lot. So in a lot of ways, it's just cheaper to go ahead and replace it and not have to worry about, well, all the issues you're going to have with the rust that this thing currently possesses. There's the old tank. Let me show you the new tank here. It's an exact match. This literally just bolts right in there. I'm going to reuse the gas cap, and that's it. So here it is. I'll set this off to the side. I'll just probably lay it back here for right now. I'll get the camera a little closer in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bolts out around here and disconnect the lines from up top. But there's another line, the actual fuel line is on the bottom. There's just 4 little tabs that are holding this in place, kind of like a battery hold down, honestly. Go ahead and loosen those up. Now I'm going to take the tank out with the fuel still in it. Certainly there's other ways you could drain the tank out first, which is probably not a bad idea if it's got too much fuel in it. This one I don't think is going to have too much fuel, so I don't think it's going to be difficult for me to pick it up. Get a pair of pliers for that. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to leave the gas cap on it. These lines here for the fuel sender. Okay, and then I'm going to raise this up and we'll disconnect the fuel line underneath. All right, so I don't know how much of this you can see, probably not a whole lot. I'm gonna actually turn the wheel a little bit. It might give us a little better access. Yeah, I just don't think you're gonna be able to see what I'm doing. All right, anyway, what I'm gonna do is take the line off the bottom of the gas tank and plug it with a screw, and then I'll go ahead and begin the process of replacing the actual fuel line. Now, the fuel filter is hidden up underneath here. That is not stock. Usually they sit in the back. When I reassemble everything, it's gonna be in the back, but let's go ahead and take care of that right now. All right, with that disconnected, it's just a matter of lifting it up, trying to avoid the wires that are kind of intertwined here. I'll try to pull this side out first. Suddenly, it feels like there's more fuel in here than I thought. All right, with the gas tank out, we can kind of take a look through here and see if there's anything we don't like. I actually do see some stuff I don't like. You can see the oil, the steering dampener is leaking a little bit. The rubber boot here is okay, and the pitman arm has got play in it. How much is a question. Let me get a flashlight here. So it may be that we don't put the fuel tank in and more repairs are needed. A little bit of play in there, that's pretty much what it is. So not the end of the world. I think I'm going to leave it be. Brake line's been replaced, it looks like, which is nice. Yeah, so other than a little bit of a leaky dampener, I'm not seeing any reason that I need to do any additional work here. I'll just clean this area out a little bit, and we'll be ready to get started on our new tank. All right, well, as you can see, we've got a whole bunch of new parts here. First thing I'm going to swap over is I got a brand new cap here, B-dub. So go ahead and swap that in place. Of course, this tank's going to be installed dry, so it won't be anything. It'll be a lot lighter to get in and out. I was wrong. There was 5 gallons of gas in that tank, so it was almost full. Well, VW full anyway. Next thing I'm going to do is replace this. I've got to get the screws from the old sending unit, but I did purchase, and all the stuff that you're seeing here all came from J-Bugs. I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm just saying that's where I got my stuff. I'm pretty happy with everything that I've gotten from them. And I did I've done several Beetle projects and a couple of buses now. And I've used them quite a bit, actually. Okay, let me grab those screws. Okay, so with this, the way mine came anyway, it's gonna sit like this in the tank. I've got to pry the metal cap off here. Okay, so What the kit comes with when it comes to this is we have our float, which just snaps in like so. And you'll notice that there's an arrow here, not an arrow, but this is where it's pointing out. This we need to have facing towards the original fuel sender. So we'll go ahead and line this up and get our gaskets lined up here as well. There we go. Okay, so like I said, this facing inward. Our gasket in place. We'll lay that down. You will need the screws from the other sender. Mine still has fuel in it, so I can't completely empty it yet. I didn't have it. I thought it was about 3 gallons worth of fuel. Turns out it was significantly more than that. And once they're all started, you can go ahead and tighten them up. These don't need to be crazy tight. You've got a big fat rubber gasket. Cool, well there's that. And now we're gonna flip this thing over because we have one more connection to make underneath here. And that is our fuel pickup, which is right here. Now the fuel pickup, I also bought a kit for that. It comes with a new fuel sock here. And although it looks like the kit I got also has socks, so I'll see which one I can use. It's amazing, modern fuel. Some of these tanks are really nasty. Like, it's a shock to me that, well, that's just what's sold. Like, I've seen the fuel tanks in our area, when they get low, just spewing trash out of them. Okay, I'm gonna use the bigger of the 2 gaskets. And it looks like there's a little washer that goes right about here. And then that slides in there. Oops. And then we have this, which is a lock washer, crush washer. And we'll go ahead and snug that down. I think that's a 21. Might be a 19. And I did also get a brand new fuel filter. So next up on my list though, is we're gonna hook this up here. And I mean, this is kind of crazy when you think about high pressure fuel lines from today, but we do not want to use clamps on either of these. And I'm just doing this side because this end is actually flared and it is a pain to do this up underneath the car. So if you can, twist this side on there. There we go. Got it about 3/4 of an inch. I'll trim this off. I have just enough fuel line to do from the tank to the metal line underneath, and then from that side underneath all the way through to the new carburetor we're installing. No sense in risking it when you're gonna do this much work on a car, end up having an elderly hose blow up on us, so we don't want that. All right, let's head on back over to the car and we'll get this thing back in. All right, we're ready to slap this thing back in here. Installation's a lot easier. We don't have any fuel to deal with in the tanks. Makes it a lot simpler to get everything lined up. I just still want to be careful not to pinch a wire or a hose. There are several that run through here. There we go. And that's, oh, I got one little hose. Get that out of the way. Now she's sitting flat. Awesome. I will go ahead and reattach my fuel gauge here before I go any further. Such a cool, old school mechanical float. But it works. Also have my vent line here. I'm not replacing that. Go ahead and reinstall that while I'm on this side. There we go. And we can put our cap back on here. Like so. And that's it. We're ready to put our little lock washers back into place to hold this thing from sloshing around while we drive. Not a very difficult program. And then underneath here, we'll get that last fuel line hooked up. I'm going to trim it back, obviously. I only got 2 meters of fuel line, and I really don't want to waste it, so I didn't want to guess and then have to trim it some more, or God forbid, guess and end up having it be a ½ inch too short, which are things that definitely happen. And some people get carpet kits, even for this area here. I don't have that, but what I do have, which I think is pretty cool still. Come on, get down in there. What I have that I still think is pretty darn cool is some gray carpeting, and I'm just going to cut it. I'm going to kind of make my own tape, you know, to fill in this area. So if I have to put luggage, which I do travel, and I build these cars, like, I know so many people have what I consider trailer queens, but I'm not interested in a trailer queen for this project, so I'm just going to leave this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but I'm trying. Multitasking is not working. Let me go ahead and put this thing back in, and we'll get up underneath and trim that back. And that's it. There's not a lot to it. I ended up out of the 3 feet with at least 2 feet, maybe an inch or two longer than 2 feet left over for the backside, which is really good. That stuff's not cheap. You don't want to use standard size fuel line. You want to make sure you get the braided, cloth braided German hose in the, I think it's 8mm, it might be 7. You'll have to double check me on that. I know some years are some sizes, whatnot. But yeah, that's it. In the next part, hopefully before she's running and driving on a more regular basis, we're going to be replacing the fuel line that's in the back, as well as the carburetor, and installing a new fuel filter to boot. And we'll top it off and get it fired up in the final part of the series. Till next time, my friends, take care.